Hello children, welcome to Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan online classes. Today we are going to take a session on the class 11 chapter Animal Kingdom. This chapter deals with the diverse life of animal in and around the earth. We have wide variety of animal species all around the earth, and these animal species, they are very important part of our ecosystem. If they are not present, or a single loss of a single species can lead to a very big loss. So today we'll see how the classification of a particular organism is done and what are the basis of these classification. The chapter is chapter 11 Animal Kingdom. It's a first part of 5 session series. And the first topic that we are going to take is the basis of classification. Basis of classification, it means what is the criteria by which we would be dividing animals into different species, because all the species, they have small or high level of similarities and dissimilarities. So on the kind of similarities in them or the kind of dissimilarities in them, they are divided into different groups. The more or like similar species, they are categorized into a same species or same order or same class or like this. So you learnt about this in your class 9, the hierarchy of the classification. It goes from the highest kingdom and the lowest or the basic unit, that is the species. What you are going to learn in this chapter? So these are the points, 5 important points that we are going to learn in this chapter. First, the basis of classification, then classification of animals, especially then we will move to the phylums, the phylum Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, then phylum Platyhelminths, Aschelminths, Annelids, Anarthropod, then Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, Chordata, then subphylum Vertebrata, Cyclostomata, Chondrichthyes, Osteichthyes, Amphibia, Reptile Shapes, and Mammalia. These are the 5 different categories to which we have divided this chapter, and the first session that we are going to take is the basis of classification. So at the end of the chapter, you will be able to learn the features of animal classification, level of organization, symmetry, diploblastic, triploblastic organization, coelom, segmentation, and notochord. I would be able to draw all the label diagram of bilateral symmetries, germinal layers, coeloms, different type of coelom. You would also be able to compare the radial and bilateral symmetry, diploblastic and triploblastic, and all the pseudocoelomate, acoelomate, and coelomate. These are all learning objectives or outcome will be seen after the session is over. Before starting, we should have a previous knowledge of this entry behavior. The previous knowledge that we should require for this is what is classification, that we studied in our class 9. What is the difference between plants and animal? What are the 5 kingdoms that the organisms are divided, and in that the animal kingdom, where it stands? What are the characteristics of the animal kingdom, and what are the basic classification of organism? These all we studied in class 9, so it seems that we all are well aware of the basic knowledge that is required for conducting this session. So let us start the session with this. So as per the criteria, the basis of classification for animal kingdom, we are talking of animal kingdom, is there is various classification. The basis are the arrangement of cells or the level of organization, body symmetry, nature of coelom, pattern of digestive, circulatory or reproductive systems, segmentation, and presence or absence of notochord. For example, if you find an organism that you don't know or that was not categorized into any species, or it's a species that you searched all over everywhere but it was not found. So the name nomenclature is given by a particular organization, but before that we could easily understand their characteristic and we could try to classify them on the basis of these categories, criteria. So what will be the criteria? Level of organization, body symmetry, nature of coelom, pattern of digestive, circulatory or reproductive system, segmentation, and absence of notochord. So we will take the first criteria for classifying organism is the level of organization. So we heard and we studied in our earlier chapter that organisms, they undergo from molecular level to the higher level. It starts from atomic level and slowly atoms, they form molecules, then they form cells, then the tissues, organ system, and an individual. An individual is an animal, but it is not that all the animals, they will be made up of only the higher most level of the organization, but there are some animals that are at lowest level and there are organisms that are at highest or organ system level. So the level of organization start from cellular level. The cellular level organization start with arrangement of loose cell aggregates. Though they are loosely arranged, every cell perform its function, but they are living in a colony. So it shows that no coordination to form a tissue. So a cell will be an individual unit and they will not work together as a tissue or any other system. Individual cells are capable of performing specific function. So the best example of this is a sponge. Sponges, they are at cellular level and they perform their own function at a cellular structure. Now you learnt in this that the sponges, they are living in a colonies, and these colonies, they made the sponges to enter or to evolve into a certain different structures, and that start the formation of a tissue level of organization, which is very clearly seen in Hydra. There are different cells, they are performing similar functions and they aggregate to form a tissues. So like we will study in further detail when we will study the other phylums like coelentrates and porifera, they will find that there are cells that are working together for the performance of a particular organism. Then comes the organ level. These tissues, when they group together, they form organs, and these organs are arranged to execute a specific function. The most example or the good example is a platyhelminth, which you will find that has the systems that work for its nutrition, that work for its reproduction, and these different organs, they are at a organ. These different tissues, they are forming the organ. Now the organs, they work together to form an organ system level of organization, which we call as the highest level where an individual is formed. So the organ system level organization is seen in most of the higher complex organisms. We'll find that the lower organism, which are not complex, which are simple in structure, they prefer to be there at the cellular level. But as the complexity enters, then the level of organization changed, and the organisms, they started moving from the simple basic to the complex higher organisms. So this was the first level of organization that first criteria that is required to understand what the species or what the organism is grouped into. So according to this, the organism, all the cellular level of performing organization will be grouped into one, all the organism with organ level of organization will be grouped into other. Like this, so the criteria is decided to group organism into different parts. Now the second that is more important is some animals, they have speciality. Some, for example, in digestive system, if the digestive system is there, it can be a complete digestive system or an incomplete digestive. You could see from in this structure that the digestive system is either incomplete, so the digestive system has only a single opening to the outside of the body, and it acts as both in this mouth. You will find the mouth and the anus, it acts as a same opening. The same opening is used as a mouth and as a anus. So the digestive system is there, but it is not complete. So it is an incomplete digestive system. So this is seen in most of the platyhelminths and cylindrate. Another type of digestive system that we find in organism is a complete, where you will find a whole tube. The tube has the starting from mouth with all the pharynx, intestine and all the digestive tract. The whole alimentary canal ends in the anus. So there is a complete formation of a digestive system. So this is also one of the criteria by which we can divide these organisms into one another. One more system, every organism has a special type of organ systems, but we will take one or two organ system that has a specialty. Like this, organism can have a circulatory system of open type or a closed type. In the open type of circulation, you will find the blood is pumped out of the heart and the tissues are bathed in it. Example in arthropods and mollusks. Here you will see the tissues are bathed in the blood, and the blood is pumped out of the heart and tissue is bathed into. Most of the mollusks and insects or arthropods, we find this kind of circulation. Another type of circulation that we find in higher organism or vertebrates is a closed type, where the blood flows inside the blood vessel of varying diameters, arteries, veins, capillaries, without coming in direct contact with the body cells. And this is there, you'll find this same is our system, and the blood moves twice, which form a double circulation that we studied in our class 10th syllabus. So this is either open or the closed. An organism can have either open system of circulation or it has a closed system of circulation. As per symmetry is concerned, the body can be divided into two equal halves through any plane passing through the center, and the body can be divided into a plane that passing through the central axis and divides the organism into identical halves. Here it starts from first. The first is, you are seeing, this is a sponge. So can you cut this into two equal half into at any plane? No, we cannot, because they are, so that's why they are called as asymmetric, because their body cannot be divided into two equal halves through any plane passing through the center. But here you will see there is a metridium or organism which is showing radial symmetry. Here you will cut this organism in any plane. You will see two identical halves. So when any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides organism into two identical halves, we call it as a radial symmetry. So this is seen in coelentrates, ctenophora and echinodermata. The third one is a bilateral symmetry in the higher vertebrates like us. So we can be divided only through in two equal halves, but the body can be divided into identical left and right halves. Only one plane will be used. Okay, here also is there, but the plane can be anything. But here only one plane is used and can be used to divide the organism into two equal halves. So this is also for your extra, that is the upper part we call it dorsal, then the lower ventral, the front part, that is the mouth and all, we call it as a anterior, and the other we call is a posterior part. So while naming or while labeling any part of the body, will come through these words. So you should have the knowledge what part is anterior and posterior, and the dorsal and ventral. The third criteria involved in differentiation or in classifying organism is the germinal layer formation. After the formation of a zygote, the zygote start dividing into large number, a ball of cell, and these ball of cells then finally invaginate or move to form either two-layered structure or the three-layered structure. So if the cells are arranged into two embryonic layers, that is outer ectoderm and the inner endoderm, and a middle undifferentiated mesoglea, we call it as a diploblast, di 2. Okay, blastic, it actually comes from blastoderm. And if there are three embryonic layers, outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and the inner endoderm, then all the tissues and organs are formed from these three layers. Ectoderm give rise to epidermis and nervous system, mesoderm to muscles and endoskeleton, reproductive organ, and the endoderm to the alimentary canal. So here you will find this is a triploblastic structure and this is a diploblastic with only two germinal layers. What are these two germinal layers? The endoderm and ectoderm. But in triploblastic there is a formation of one more layer, that is mesoderm, and these layers are embryonic layers. So finally they will be changing into different organs, and these organs will be involved in the proper functioning of this organism. Here you will find most of the from platyhelminths, they are triploblastic. Another criteria for classifying organism is the formation of coelom. What is a coelom? A coelom is a body cavity which is lined by mesoderm, and it is a cavity between the body wall and the gut wall. So the cavity, if you see cross section of a particular body, you will find the outer skin or the outer ectoderm, and then you will find the endoderm, but in between this there is a empty space or cavity that is called coelom. Coelomate, acoelomates are the animals in which the body cavity is absent. So there is no body cavity, only the ectoderm and the mesoderm, and then you will find the endoderm. Here you can differentiate this into 3 layers. There is no body cavity, which is seen in platyhelminths. Then we call coelomates, which are animals with true body cavity. Example, annelids and all other chordates. Now, why this is called as true body cavity? You will find that the cavity is lined by a mesoderm layer or tissue. Here the white space is the cavity, and you will find the red colored lines are the cells are the mesodermal layer. So the cavity is lined by mesoderm, then it is a true body cavity or coelomate. But some organisms, they show pseudocoelom. In some animals, the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is present as a scattered pouch between the ectoderm. Here you will see the scattered pouch, the cavity is present, but it is not completely covered by a mesoderm. So we cannot call this as a true body cavity. That's why this and these type of animals, they are called as pseudocoelomates, like eskelmins, which are also known as a roundworm. Now, this is the easiest way to classify. Externally, we can easily understand that the animal can be divided into a segmented or a non-segmented. In some animals, the body is externally and internally divided into segments with a serial repetition of least some organ. Now this, the first one, that is earthworm, we can easily see that it is divided into segments, and these segments will be, most of these segments, they will have same type of organization. Here you will find all the legs, centipedes, they have a similar structure, the body is segmented. So such animals which show segmented body or similar body parts repetition, they are called as segmented organism, and that do not show, they are non-segmented. Now, the most important that divides all the vertebrates or the chordates and non-chordates is because of the notochord. A notochord is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure formed on the dorsal side of the, so just now we have seen dorsal, ventral, anterior, posterior. So you will find the dorsal mesodermally derived rod-like structure formed on the dorsal side of the embryonic. Here this is there, and you will see the above we have a dorsal hollow nerve cord, and lower to that, that is notochord. This notochord is a structure which is a peculiarity of all the chordate organism. If it is present, it's a chordate. If it is not present, it is a non-chordate. So animals with notochord are called chordates, and those animals which do not form this structure, they are called non-chordates. So finally, these are the important criteria that are required to classify organism. So our NCERT book has all these criteria, and they are very important because to understand a particular organism specifically or to categorize into a special species, we should understand and we should undergo thorough examination of the species that we find or species that we know. Before that, we should know what are the different phylums and what are the different taxonomic groups available, so that we can shift these into different taxonomic groups. So we are seeing recapitulation. Animals show cellular, tissue, organ level of organization. They are either complete or incomplete digestive system, or closed or open circulatory system. They are categorized as symmetrical, asymmetrical, radially or bilateral symmetrical. They are diploblastic or triploblastic, or they are coelomate, acoelomate, pseudocoelomate. They show segmentation, they cannot show segmentation, and they have notochord or they do not have notochord. So we can see what is the assessment. Let us answer these questions. The digestive system has only a single opening. Can you answer this? Type of circulation where blood flows inside blood vessels. The third one is body is externally and internally divided into segments. So what such organisms are called? Animals with true body cavity. What is the term that we are using? Rod-like structure formed on the dorsal side during embryonic development. It's also there in the session. These are the home assignment that you can take home and answer. Define the following terms: chordates, metamerism, radial symmetry. Draw the label diagram of diploblastic and triploblastic structure. Draw the label diagram of coelomate, acoelomate and pseudocoelomate structures. Further, you can go for reading books. Then you can go to the web link. These web links, they will inform you more about coelom and segmentation and other. Here you can go for a video link that is available to more enrich your subject. So we use, for the next topic, we have classification of animals, Porifera, Coelenterate and Ctenophora. It's presented by Atul Mankar, and this is a ZIT presentation. We are thankful to all the content developers and support. Thank you.